Are you trying to figure out how to get things done? Are you trying to look for knowledge that can actually help you do something, be better at what you do? Hi, I'm Joyce Mbaya, founder of Zydii, where we provide affordable online courses for Africa. This is the place for you, the Zydii podcast, where we have inspiring conversations with amazing people. And the ultimate goal is to help you know more so you can do more.
Welcome, feel at home. The home Zydii, Zydii is a family. So we want to welcome you today to the webinar, to the Zydii webinar. We are going to have some interesting conversations. I know why you are here, and we have solutions for the challenges that we face. Many organizations go through these challenges because considering what COVID has done to companies, so it's very understandable that you need, of course, to figure out then how do you digitize your courses. And that is what we will be offering today. So you need to stay tuned. If your internet is not stable, find a place or move, even if you need to sit on the roof of the house, if that is where the internet is stable. So because we don't want you to miss anything. Whatever we're going to share today is going to revolutionize how you do your training in your company. So excited to have you here, and I'm going to take a few minutes because we just have an hour to do introductions. As you can hear, I'm very quick because I also, I don't like keeping people. Cindy, that is why I even came early, so that we can release you, you go back to work. So first, of course, the guy that is talking is Captain Boniface Ontomwa. I'm the Zydii project manager, and I love, of course, running such sessions. And of course, I'm involved with a lot of projects at Zydii. Yeah, that is basically what I do. And I have my colleagues with me on this call, and I'm going to give them a chance also to do the introductions before we proceed to the next topic. Over to you, Rhoda.
Great. Thank you, Boniface. And thank you for the introduction and getting us warmed up. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being on time. We truly, truly appreciate it. So I'm Rhoda Kingori. I'll be your moderator as I take you through this process of learning a bit more about how to convert your training to digital. And I'm co-founder of Zydii. I've been in this digital training upskilling space for over 5 years. So I'm excited to share key insights that we've learned along the way that has really made us successful in what we do. So thank you so much for joining us, being on time, and we can pick up from there. Boniface, Joyce, who is the founder of Zydii, will be joining us a bit later on, but we can continue as we are. So who is Zydii? Who are we? And I'd said that there's some who know who we are, there's some who don't, but just so that we are all on the same page, just sharing about a little bit about who we are and why we're the ones who are sharing this information, right? What makes us the experts? So we partner with businesses, organizations, partners to help them upskill their teams and build their future of work, the present and the future. And we do this through relatable digital training content that as a first. So that's African experts and trainers. And this content is ready to go. And also you're able to go through these courses using our online platform where you have your private environment where your team can train anywhere, anytime on any device, or even offline using USSD and SD. And we've been doing this for quite a while. We've been in this market for about 5 years. We've worked with organizations all the way from Uber, MasterCard, Kepsa, NBK, all the way to small SMEs. If you have a team, even if it's just one person on your team, you're able to train them and they can get the skills that they need so that they can help your business grow and succeed. So that is who we are. And we've also been in this business because we are in the digital training space. We've also really gotten great at, and one of our expertise is helping organizations also convert their internal knowledge. So this is not just from us, from our own pool of experts, but their internal knowledge into digital training. Before we begin anything, what we always like to say and really encourage people to understand is that training doesn't just have to be from other people's knowledge and information. So as an organization, you have so much internal knowledge. You have that person on your team. If that person went today, there would be absolute chaos because they're sitting with so much knowledge. And we always say, qua ground, things are different, right? So maybe you have your systems, your structures, your procedures, but there's a way in which they do things and it's incredibly effective. People on the team keep referring to them. They're the people who come for problems to be solved. This is internal knowledge, right, that you need to actually leverage. So no organization can say that you don't have knowledge or any form of internal training, because there are people on the team who have skills that they can definitely share across board, across your team. So even if they are not available, even if they are not there, these systems and structures, these procedures, the actual application of this knowledge can continue happening because people are still able to continue learning. So leveraging internal knowledge is so essential. And the power of this as well is a key element, and I'll be talking about it as we continue, peer-to-peer. So you can have the greatest expert in the world come and teach people a specific topic, right? But we always say when it's somebody on the ground who has actually experienced and knows that this will result in this and understands your experiences on the ground, relatability is very powerful. So people are able to actually, even just the mindset of being able to learn from them and respect their experience and their knowledge, because they know you understand where they're coming from. So the power of the internal knowledge, the experts on the team, peer-to-peer. You have guys on your team who you might not even be leveraging, but they're able to really, really share a lot of knowledge that can really help your organization grow. So that's just to begin with, right? So acknowledging the fact that each of you have internal knowledge that's sitting either with, a document somewhere where you've identified the system, structures, procedures, or a specific person on the team who is really, really excellent at what they do. And now we're going to talk about, so how do you convert this knowledge, this internal knowledge that you have, into actual digital training that can be used not just today, but tomorrow for the future. So we can move on to the next bit, which is the how, right? So somebody had put in there, one of the biggest struggles is the how of actually converting this content. Where do you start, right? How will it look like at the end? You're at a complete loss as to where to begin. So I'm going to walk you through the stages of converting your content or your training. And even at the most basic level, this will help you to, even if it's not starting now, but begin to start thinking about how you can begin converting your training. So we'll start with design. So design is a key phase. And I always say, people always think that they want to jump into the deep end, but you're probably not ready for the deep end. So where do you begin? So for design, and I put it here in large font, it is not copy paste or a structure or procedure or training that you've been doing offline. It does not necessarily mean that every single thing that you are doing offline or in person is what is going to be converted to digital. So it's really important to remember that it's not just copy paste. It's not that you're taking a document and reading through it from beginning to end, turning it into a video and saying, oh, the content has been converted, or maybe you have in-person onboarding training that you have been doing for a decade, or a specific training area that you've been doing offline. And now you think, all right, so every single thing that I have been doing on the ground, I can convert it, or let me just do a quick recording and turn it to a digital course. That's not how it works. Because generally, even in terms of the psychology behind how people learn online digitally is very different to how they learn in person. So you really have to keep this in mind. So the design phase basically means this is where you're sitting down and you have, say, for example, you have a document for onboarding, right? How do you break this down? So this is what we call the point for, it's almost like scripting or storyboarding, where actually just look at the content that you have and break it down into a section. So you can say, there's this specific topic and there's these subtopics underneath this. this is what will be covered in the content, right? And also acknowledging that there's some elements that maybe you had a physical interaction with the team, or there was a practical element that cannot be converted effectively. And we always say there is still room for in-person training. So not everything can or should be converted to digital. So you sit down and look at your content and you break it down now, the training into this is the topic. Under this topic, these are the individual lessons. And I'll talk a little bit more about that individual lesson in the next slide. So this is really essential. You stop and you design, where you go through the content, look at what can be turned into a video, what cannot be turned into a video, how long would this video, if we created a course, how many videos would come out, how long would this be, in comparison to your in-person. Or for example, if you don't have any of this, maybe you have that person who is really experienced. Maybe you're that person, right? You generally train people, or you always train people what to do. You have this knowledge, or you know someone on your team who has this knowledge. What you need to do is sit down with them and then now have the discussion of, so if you were to teach me this, what would you teach me first? Teach me second, right? We'll scope it out. We call this scoping, right? Where you create the flow of the experience somebody will go through from the beginning, which topics will they cover, to the end, so that they can learn all of this. So design is really essential. It's not just as simple as taking a presentation and recording everything on it and turning it into a video. So this is a key. And I had talked about the lessons, right? A key thing to keep in mind when you are doing this breakdown, and a key part even when it comes to the point of developing this content, which means converting it, you really need to keep in mind an element that we call micro-learning. And we really apply this in Zydii. Micro-learning is creating bite-sized lessons. So, for example, if, say you do a Zoom, like this Zoom session, right? You're training people on the ground, you're sharing information. You need to break this down into bite size. So 3 to 5 minute videos, each covering a specific topic or a part of a specific topic. So that at any given time, somebody can say, I watched one video today, but from this video that was 3 minutes, I learned this specific thing. So it's really great to keep it in mind. Also taking into consideration that in terms of attention span, you cannot keep somebody watching a video. If it's not a movie, you cannot keep them watching a video for 1 hour and their attention is actually retained, which is why 3 to 5 minutes is optimum. And even now, with the advent of TikTok, social media, this is cutting down to even a minute worth of content. And people are learning, and they're learning and actually retaining the content even more than if they were to watch a 1 hour video on the topic. So it's breaking down that big topic you have into small bite size, so that I can say 5 minutes today, 3 minutes tomorrow. And it also helps you to structure how your videos or your content will flow. So you'll know topic 1 is this, and then under this, there's subtopic 1, 2, 3, 4, and each is a specific video, and it's talking about this specific thing. So that you're able to create bite-sized learning or micro-learning as you're converting your content. So this is important to keep in mind even when you're in the design stage. So after you've designed, you have a document outlining your topic, your sections, your subtopics, you know what is going to be covered, how it's going to flow from beginning to end. Then now you move into the development phase. So for development, and this is, I call it the starter pack, right? The beginning starter pack that if somebody had mentioned, don't have the digital skills to convert. So how can you do it using technology that we use every day, that is very, very easy, and convert this? Now you have all of this content, right? You've done your breakdown, you even created a presentation for it. How do you convert it? So there's several tools that you can use. Of course, we all know PowerPoint, right? So you can actually just break down that content into PowerPoint. Of course, use a lot of images as well, visuals, and then do a screen recording. And it connects to this element I had added here for screen recorders, because PowerPoint also has an internal screen recording, or rather even voice recording, so that you're able to record your voice as you're going through presentation, and it converts it to you into an actual video. So it's very possible. And if you're in doubt, go to YouTube. YouTube will still help you. You can watch a video on how to use PowerPoint, to record my presentation into a video. You're able to do that. The other is Prezi. Prezi is a really fantastic presentation tool, and it really creates a lot of animation. You basically don't have to do anything. You can even your PowerPoint, upload it onto Prezi, and it creates a really great element. So you're able to zoom in, zoom out, turn 360. So it really creates a really vibrant video. So Prezi is also an alternative to PowerPoint in terms of just creating your visual element for your videos. And the next is Canva. So for example, we are using Canva right now, and it's an incredibly tool to use. You just need to, it even has videos, it has graphics, it has images, it has templates. You don't need to struggle with now taking what you have written down, either typed up in a document or presentation, and converting it into something really vibrant. Once you've done this, so for PowerPoint, you can actually record it and turn it into videos that you can then go ahead and upload, and that's your digital course. But if you are not able to, a really easy way as well is finding screen recorders. So I've put an example here for Screencast-O-Matic. I think Boniface can even share a link for Screencast-O-Matic or MonoSnap in the chat. These, and you can even just Google free screen recorders online and get this. So this allows you to record everything on your screen. So you can have your presentation, you can have your Prezi or your Canva, you're talking through it, now that you've designed, what needs to be done, what needs to be said, talk through it, save. It saves your video 3 to 5 minutes. The next round, 3 to 5 minutes. And before you know it, you can have a course with your 15 videos, a 1.5 hour course, and you're ready to share this with people on the team. So that's very simple. At the most basic level, how you are able to develop and convert, just using tools that you use every day, PowerPoint, get a screen recorder, or even just use PowerPoint alone. And I always say, the simplest thing is just start. It might seem overwhelming. It might seem difficult. It might seem like a huge mountain, but everything begins with a single step. So start with taking maybe a training or even knowledge that you have as an individual, design it, break it down in how you would want it to flow from topic to topic, and then now use PowerPoint or Prezi or Canva, create a really vibrant presentation, and remembering not to kill people with words, use images. In fact, you should have, the way I only have a few sentences on each screen. In fact, I even have many. It should be at least 3 sentences or less, and really short phrases actually on your presentation, and walk them through, talk through it, add a lot of visuals, images, and you'll be very, very easily converting your content. So I know it might seem difficult to just think through, but I always say just start. And if you get stuck, you can always send us an email, DM us. Boniface will write our emails there in the chat, and we can give you a few tips as well. But I want to talk about how we do it at Zydii, right? We follow the same steps. But we have 2 more, of course, because we're delivering the content, right? So we have design stage. So design is, we are really experienced in what we're calling instructional design, because you are designing content for people to learn, not just watch things and tick a box, but they need to actually retain the knowledge. So instructional design is really essential there, because you're able to take any content, whatever it is, and convert it into a digital training. At the design stage, you use instructional design to do this. So we design the content, somebody shares, maybe they have a presentation or there's somebody on the team. We go through the design stage, and it's really essential. We spend some time here, because if you get this wrong, everything else will not work. You will do zero work, because people will be asking questions, they'll be confused, you have to redo everything. So we go through the design, then we go through developing the content. And the next slides, I'll show you an example of what does this mean and what does this actually look like. So developing means either we're doing a direct conversion where we're taking your presentation, we are doing voiceovers, and then we're using graphics, animations to convert that knowledge that you've shared into an actual video. So at this point, it's not like there's somebody standing in front of a camera. It really is a lot of graphical elements to make it engaging, and I'll show you what this looks like. Or we do video production where we come to where you are, we've already gone through the scripting or the design phase, and we actually coach the instructor or the expert or the person on your team, whoever it is, on how they're going to share the information and the knowledge, how to do it in front of camera, and we record all of this. Then our content team goes through the process of editing it into bite-sized videos, adding the graphics, the flashing images, what have you, and you're able to get really engaging videos after. The next is what we call interactive video. So for some people who already have learning management systems or learning experience systems are using SCORM. So SCORM is an international standard for learning management systems. So like Percipio uses this, if you know what Percipio is. One of Percipio by Skillshare, one of the really large LMSs in the world. Most of them use SCORM. So SCORM allows you to interact, to have interactive videos where you can have a video or you can have elements on the screen and someone can actually click the screen, enter details, make decision, type something on the screen, touch something on the screen that reacts. This is interactive video. So we do that in terms of development. And after that, we now share it for review with the client, with you, where you watch it from beginning to end. Does it make sense? Is there anything that's missing? Is there anything that needs to be changed? Go through this and we go through that review process. Then after doing the review, we hand it over to you. You load it on your platform, or if you don't have one, you can load it on the Zydii platform as well. And your team starts training with that content and you can use it for years to come. So those are the steps that we go through. And after I've gone through this, I will pause for the Q&A, so don't worry. But as we're going through, what will really help me as well is type questions in the chat. If you have questions of something that you've not understood or just a general question, type it in the chat. We'll answer it in about 7 minutes or so. So that being said, I will then now show you what we mean, because I've talked about it, but you need to see it. We're talking about content, right? So you need to see some form of content to understand how your content can actually look once it has been converted into digital training. So that's what I'm going to do in the next slides that are coming up. There's some 3 key elements as Zydii that we really, really, really keep in mind when it comes to designing digital training. And these are things that you should definitely keep in mind as well when you are creating your own, or if somebody else is creating for you or we are creating, right? And this is one, storytorials. Storytorials are, instead of telling somebody this is how customer service works, it's telling the story of a customer or you as the person who was handling a customer, what your experience was like and how you handled it. So you can say, for example, Mark or Mary, there was a customer who was shouting at Mary. Mary was getting really, really flustered until she remembered that to handle issues and complaints, she can use the LEARN model. She can listen, she can empathize, she can apologize, she can notify the next level if it needs to be escalated, right? So she uses the LEARN model to handle the issues and complaints. Really helped her. The customer was really mad at first, but then slowly they started, after they had let off all of their steam, then now she was saying she really understands where they're coming from. So the difference between this and just telling somebody this is what it is they're able to practically, their brain cells as well are able to connect the practicality of the theory you're teaching. So we use storytorials a lot in terms of digitization. And you should also think about this, right? Everybody loves a good story. That's how our ancestors passed down knowledge. You'll watch a movie and get something from it. Stories are really powerful. So using stories in even the design stage, where you're adding these stories in different parts of your training to create that relatability element. The next is, of course, peer-to-peer. We talked about this, where if possible, if there is an expert on your team, get them to in front of the camera or get them to share their knowledge, because it is more relatable than just somebody from outside or a different external course that you have gotten to train. It's really, really powerful, especially when it comes to really specific elements of your business. The next is, of course, the visual or the. This is where we say you can never have too many pictures. You can never have too much like the visual engagements. I mean, you can have too many graphics. That's the thing. But pictures, videos of people doing something that you are talking about, you can never have too many of these. And the human face, the human visual is really powerful for people to create a lot of relatability with people. So even in your presentations, if you're starting with PowerPoint, find pictures of actual people, somebody laughing, somebody studying, someone on the laptop. If it relates to what you are talking about, add visuals of people, videos, if you can find videos, because nowadays you can add actual moving videos in presentations as well. Do so, because this really helps relatability, engagement. Nobody is going to be staring at a screen with words alone, right? And actually be engaged. They'll just be ticking a box. So what does it look like? The three elements in terms of the development that we had talked about. So I'm going to share this and I'm going to maximize the volume so that you can also listen to the video. I might not play the videos until the end because I'm very cognizant of time, but I think it would be great for you to see what I meant. So, for example, for direct conversion, what does it mean when I say we do the voiceovers and add animations and graphics? So let's play and just have a quick look at what this looks like.
An overview of the water sector. In Kenya, water and sanitation play a fundamental role in achieving shared social and economic outcomes. In the past, access to sustainable water services and adequate sanitation and hygiene has been a challenge. Access to water is recognized as one of the key components of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG 6. The Sustainable Development Goals are the blueprint signed by United Nations member states to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. They address the global challenges we face, including poverty, inequality, climate change, environmental degradation, and peace and justice. The sixth Sustainable Development Goal, SDG 6, focuses on ensuring availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Mark, an employee of NPK, traveled to his grandparents' village and learned of a new village borehole that not only makes it easier to access water, but allows the village to sell water to the larger area beyond their village, earning them revenue, and now neighboring villages are getting financing to build the same. So Mark decided to do some research about this and discovered that Kenya's population is growing and the demand for water is also increasing. The current financial resources are not sufficient to achieve safe water and sanitation by 2030. Kenya is exploring alternative financing and revenue models for the sector to close the gap. If you are like Mark, this training will help you understand the main policy documents and plans that guide national and county developments in regard to water, sanitation, and hygiene. The connections between these institutions and the provisions of various acts will be discussed in subsequent sections. Currently, there are 88 public and 3 private water service providers, and we will learn more about this as we progress.
I know it's been a lot. I have talked a lot. In fact, now I can even sip some water. Please let the questions start coming through. Questions. If there are no questions, comment so that I know you are alive and you are not speaking to ghost audiences. So if you have not typed them in the chat, you can unmute and ask your question or share a comment. Yeah, but I'd love to hear from you. Has this made sense? is there anything that you've picked from this so that we know that we're not doing things in vain? And I hope it's made sense.
Thank you, Zydii team, and thank you, Rhoda, for their presentation. I think this is quite great, simplified enough, but also slightly taken to a technical level in terms of incorporating the various, techniques that you might need to put together as you work on this kind of knowledge translation or digitization of knowledge. So I quite appreciate this. So perhaps we can have some time in the future to be able to share more. I hope you organize some other sessions in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. We definitely will. And also my email is in the chat. Boniface had put it in there. So if you have any questions, you can reach out. We can lock down, something on Google Meet or Zoom and just have a chat about where you are, what you're trying to do as well, and what would help you at the stage you're at. Yeah.
So are you going to share the presentation, right?
Yes, we will share.
Okay.
In fact, we'll share the recording as well. So don't worry. Right after the session, we'll make sure to share it. Yeah.
Thank you, Rhoda. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Ore. I can see your chat. Thank you, and thank you for coming to join in. I hope you got something from it as well. Anybody else? We have, it's exactly 11. So in a few seconds, we'll be able to speak now or forever hold their peace.
We have Anthony. Anthony says, I appreciate that you answered the how a bit. A great presentation. Thank you, Anthony. What about Gibson as we end? Gibson says, Rhoda, you can read this. Maybe you respond to
All
this.
right. So he says, which LMS systems do you guys recommend to be able to make and disseminate good digital training content? Hey, we are on a Zydii call. We recommend Zydii because we do have the platform where you can actually share and disseminate this and track it as well. So you get your private environment, you load the content there, and as the admin or HR or whoever it is, you're able to actually track who is going through the training, where they have reached, what their engagement is like, and actually enroll them to specific trainings that you would like them to be on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Rhoda. So finally, there's one participant that has not said anything. Edwin, you have not spoken, you have not texted. Are you here? I'm picking him out because he's my friend and he has not spoken.
Yes, I'm here. I was listening and all. And I think it was a good presentation. Give us an insight on what digitization of content is. So possibly it's for us to look at our needs and see how you guys can basically fit into the needs or advice on how to get our needs sorted.
Wow.
Great.
Thank you, Edwin.
Thank you, Edwin. Gibson as well. We have your email addresses. Also email me. It's there. And we can touch base and help you figure out where to get started and how to do it. And do it quickly, effectively, and make it very, very engaging. Yeah.
Okay, so I think then we will call it closing remarks. We don't have, Rhoda, do you have closing remarks? Because I see we are past time.
My closing remarks are thank you. Thank you for being here. And it was lovely having you on. I'm so glad you got something out of it. Don't hesitate to call. Boniface, you can also put my number on the chat.
Okay.
So call and text. All right, thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Keep warm. Keep drinking your coffee. Keeping warm. But have a good day, everyone. And you can leave at your leisure.
This week's episode has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like and share, comment, get involved. Let us know what you think, what you want to learn next, and join us next time.